Hello and welcome back to Stocking Fillers, a series on Football Manager on the countdown to Christmas, where I'm going to go through 25 free transfers who are available at the start of the game. These are not going to be players that are necessarily the best players who are free transfers. This is not a countdown to Christmas Day where the 25th player is going to be the best player on this list. It is none of that. It is just 25 players that I've kind of picked out and gone, they're quite an interesting little player. For day number 4 then, we are taking a look at 21-year-old Nigerian central midfielder Raphael Ayagua, who was formerly of Lillestrøm, and I had a quick read about him. He was released from Lillestrøm because he wasn't being played. He wasn't released because he wasn't good enough or anything like that, they just released him because he wasn't being played. He does have one cap to his name, which apparently was in 2017 in his debut against Benin. Looking at some of his stats, he is a well-rounded central midfielder, I'd say. Very similar to Jordan Much from yesterday. Mentally, lots of 11s and 12s in there, 14 for aggression, 10 for positioning. Physically, also lots of 11s and 12s, a couple of 10s as well. So from a standpoint of where I think he will fit in terms of the league system, he's most definitely a League One central midfielder, a League One standard central midfielder. Problem is, obviously, being Nigerian, he doesn't have a second nationality. He hasn't played international football for 3 years, 2 years, something along those lines. He's not going to get himself a work permit. So, with that in mind, you're more likely to sign him in countries such as Spain, France, Holland, Belgium, countries where the work permit rules are slightly more relaxed, and you can pick up these players. I mean, in France, you can sign him for possibly a League 2 or a National Championnat, I think is the 3rd division. You can sign him for one of those sides, and he doesn't even count as being foreign because they count basically all Africans as French, which is great if you like to sign African footballers. Technically as well, he's also not terrible. He's got lots of 12s in the places that matter. Some of his stats are a little bit low, but these are stats that you don't really need him to be taking long throws and corners and crossing. He's a central midfielder. He can't finish too well. He's a central midfielder. He's not going to be your free kick taker, but dribbling, first touch, long shots, passing, tackling and technique, all reasonable numbers, I'd say, for like a League One side. Now, his stats from the in-game editor, or the pre-game editor, sorry, are showing that his current ability is 102, but his recommended current ability is only 100, so take that as you will. As for potential, he has a potential of 125, which I would say is probably good enough to be a championship level central midfielder, and at 21 he's almost certainly going to have the time to be able to hit that potential ability, and he's not massively far away from it at the moment anyway. Also at 21 he doesn't have any player traits, so you can potentially mould him into the central midfielder that you want. He can also play as a defence midfielder and an attacking midfielder, so maybe you might train him over the years to be slightly more deep lying, maybe more attacking. You're going to need to get his finishing up for that one. That is going to do it then for day number 4 of Stocking Fillers. It is 21-year-old central midfielder from Nigeria, Raphael Ayagua, formerly of Lillestrøm, and a couple of teams in Nigeria as well. Thank you very much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back tomorrow for the next day of Stocking Fillers.